Hey, this is Michael, founder of Audyx, and this is the first video of many to come, sharing with you a little bit more about myself, about Audyx, what we're here to do, why we're doing it, as well as give you an inside look of what to expect and what you will get in the deliverables when you work with us. So it should be a lot of fun, very exciting, and I'm excited to show you this inside look because if you weren't on the newsletters, if you didn't help beta test it, you haven't gotten these. But let me tell you, these are going to be so helpful. But hopefully, first things first, you know that Audyx is live. We did have a successful run of our beta testing. It was really helpful for myself to see the vision that was in my mind to bringing it down to real life, using the tools that I had set up, configured all of the boom, boom, we go from this to that, to that, to that, to creating those final deliverables and really seeing the importance of the QA within all this, which I've shared on LinkedIn and my socials in the process of doing it, of like, okay, AI tools are great, they're amazing, but there's still a lot that they need to improve in, and they make mistakes. So as I built the tools that I'll be using within Audyx, I've built in QA checks. I'm using ones that are private, secure. It keeps your data protected, and it's not training any other AI model. So you can be rest assured within that. They have a QA step that as they process the data that we get, they are self-checking itself, because if you've ever chatted with AI, it gives you something, you're like, can you double check that? And then it will double check and sometimes give you something different. And I'm like, why do I as a human have to do that? No, we'll build that in. Also created a separate QA tool that I thought we would just QA a percentage of each audit we do, but nope. We're doing everything, and then myself as a human and my team as it builds and grows, we will all have that same focus of like, AI tools are great. It's awesome. It can really speed this up. But at the end of the day, we have brains that God gave us that are super smart, and we need to be using those to check everything to make sure it is on track and it is correct. Because if we're not giving you correct information, why are we here? Why are we doing this? But enough said with that. I want to show you an overview of what you get when you work with us. And these are just the first two things that I've put together based on that beta round that we had. But I think already, myself being a leader, having worked in startups, I think these are more than enough, but just super awesome and very incredibly helpful. So you'll get two levels of clarity within a snapshot and a deep diagnostic. We'll talk about the executive snapshot. This is something that after I put together the diagnostic report, I was like, wow, this is a lot of information. I need something for leaders that they can kind of quickly go through, read, summarize, and be told, here's what we learned. Here's what you can do with it. Go on and go forth with your business. So that's what the executive snapshot is. It starts out letting you know, okay, here's what this is. Here's how you can use this. Here are different people in your business that can help put you in, put this into practice and into real life. So if you are a founder and you built this company by yourself, most likely you can do this all yourself. But if you have an operations person, if you've got a human resources person, there are a lot of people, chief of staff, all these people are great at using the information. Like, they just need to know what's going on and they will do the rest for you. So I think that's really exciting. From there, it'll go through each section, letting you know, here's a summary, here's the insight, as well as here are the high level opportunities from that, letting you know, you don't have to do this. We're not telling you what to do, but based on the information, here's where you could start and what you could potentially be doing. And then at the very end of the document, we have, based on everything that we learned from your team, here are the most crucial areas to start with. So it's something that has come up again and again across your team, the most common areas that need to be worked on. And we let you know exactly what those areas are, as well as, in theory, examples of next steps you could take within that. So as we get into future videos, I'll show you what this means, or what it looks like, what it means, yes. But overall, I think it is super awesome. And then the diagnostic report goes along with that, and that is the in-depth, here's everything. We go question by question, letting you know what we learned from that. We have visuals, graphs, letting you know the most agreeable areas, the most disagreeable. Based on that, what is insight you can get from that. And then the high-level opportunities, as well as a lot of what we share in the executive snapshot, but more in-depth. Because if you are paying for this service and we're putting your team through this company-wide audit in which we're getting really great information, don't you want that information? I know I would. As a leader, I'm like, it's a big document, but let's grab a good cup of coffee, spend the next couple of days going section by section, pulling out what my team is saying. And I think that is what is the most exciting part of Audyx, is that it's not me saying it. Like, I love operations. I have a background in that. I was a chief of staff in a startup for 5 years. I've built my own businesses. So I love all of these areas. But it's not me telling you this. It is your own team who lives and breathes what you're doing every single day, who wants to help you build this into the dream, the vision that you have. They are the ones that are bringing this to you. And we are in the middle protecting their anonymity so that they actually can speak the truth. Because that's something that wherever you're at, you may think you know what's happening in your company. But let me tell you, I've been an employee of many places and the leaders don't know. They don't know the half of it. Maybe they know a quarter of it, but people will tell you things that they don't mean because, I'll give you an example. As my internship was ending at a startup, I gave them a big document of here's what I learned in the last 10 weeks from a management leadership perspective of how things could improve. And then I let them know I'd be happy to come in and actually patch all these things up. And guess what? I was not renewed. I was let go. It ended there. The leadership had no more communication with me, essentially ghosted, not even, thanks for your time with us. No, nothing. It ended. So that is a huge eye-opener to myself, knowing that people do not feel safe to give this information. But guess what? They have all of the information. They hold everything you need to know to move your business forward. So that's the kick that I get out of this business as well. As you guys, it's so simple what we're doing with Audyx, but it is incredibly impactful. So much more than you could do as yourself on your own in your business. Even if you do have an HR person, no, they're not going to tell that HR person out the truth. They aren't. But I'm here to protect them, to give them the anonymity. It's a hard word. Anonymity. So that they actually can give you the truth, and then we process that all so that you can take those best next steps forward. So if this is interesting, if you are a leader with a company with 50 to 250 employees, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, let's get in contact. Let's chat. Let's talk. It'll be just like this sort of setup where it's conversational. We'll get to know each other. Usually, I ran a podcast previously where I've interviewed over 50 people. Within a minute or two, it's like we're friends. Which I know you're like, do I want to be friends with Michael in this business? I'd say yes, you do. Because I'm looking for leaders and founders that actually care about what they're building and creating and actually care about their team. Because if you know that your team is your most valuable asset, you will go so much further than everyone else in this world, in the business world of things. So that's what I'm excited about, and I'm looking to really just get to know you here. Can we actually help you out? Because if I don't think what we provide can help you, I'm not going to loop you in and try to pressure you into going forward with the sale and getting started with this. No, I have the experience and the wisdom and the experience myself to let you know, no, maybe we're not a good fit. But on the other hand, I think many of you would be a good fit. So stay tuned for that and what's coming up as I dive in deeper into what these provide and show you examples that we got from the beta testing. And make sure you reach out if you are interested.